Rick and Morty, the Adult Swim original cartoon by Roiland and Harmon that's become less of an adult animated show and more of a global cultural icon. Since the show's debut back in 2013, Rick and Morty has got 71 episodes over 7 seasons, has received millions of views, and has taken over meme culture and the world in some ways. Just look at the whole Pickle Rick and Szechuan sauce debacles. Both of those stories are for another day. Today we're ranking the top 10 episodes to come out of this spectacular franchise. This show is oh so rewatchable, and trying to pick the 10 best episodes was no easy task, but here we are anyways. I did want to give 3 quick honorable mentions, just because I felt like the show had some episodes too good to at least not give a shout out. Get Swifty is just missing out on the top 10, even though I love the Ice-T feature and the whole songwriting shtick. Morty's Mind Blowers didn't quite make the cut, even though I like the concept, and think it makes for some fun, jump cut action. And then Edge of Tomorty, Rick Die, Repeat. This episode is real fun, seeing the shocking death of Rick in scene 1, and then seeing Morty's adventures with the whole future crystal, it makes for such an enjoyable time. But that's enough of honorable mentions. You're here to see a ranking, so let's jump right into it with number 10.
Thanks for solving that murder, guys. Here's a skateboard.
Oh, thanks, Tony Hawk.
Morty, say you'll marry me.
What?
While season 6 probably was the weakest season with all the cringe episode concepts and the whole Justin Roiland news dropping during the time, I think Full Meta Jackrape is a real diamond in the rough. The episode goes all out with its meta-narrative themes and breaking the fourth wall scenes. The plethora of self-referential characters are fun and clever, with how their names influence which meta superpower they can use on our protagonists and ultimately TV show episode. From continuity error to mislead to retcon, I love getting to see them all. They make the episode so unique. I think this episode is one of Rick and Morty's most clever. However, once they get to the Joseph Campbell scenes, I'm kind of ready for the episode to be over.
Is there any more? Seconds, thirds, we spagats as much as you can spig-eat!
That's a Morte is one of the most creatively brutal episodes that the show has to offer. The theme of people turning into spaghetti after they end their lives shouldn't ever work for any show, but that's just what makes Rick and Morty so special. The show is always able to take some wacky sci-fi element that on paper seems ridiculous, but they write a mature story and rich adult theming to it, so it makes the episode work so well. Also, something I have noticed from this show that it does exceptionally well is that when it cuts to a 0 dialogue scene that spans the course of minutes. When this episode goes into the life of the elderly man, uses 0 words, and yet contains a world of story, that's when it really shines. Rick and Morty uses this construct for an episode that's ranked somewhere else on this list, so stay tuned for that.
Glory to Glorzo means glory to me.
Glory to Glorzo is such a good song. Thought I'd bring that up about Primordius first, because I think it's that scene with that song in it that bumps it up a few spots here for me. But even without that, it's still one of the show's best episodes. Something must have been in the air in May of 2020, because the following episode is higher up on this list. But with this episode, its whole facehugger colony concept makes for a great watch, and the returning to a planet after an adventure route, while it is pretty simple, it works really effective. This episode also demonstrates a plotline element that the show uses all the time, and it's always great. And that is the entire story happening right now might seem like the A story, but really it's just a facade for what's actually important. Rick and Morty thrives on subverting your expectations, so it's no surprise that it also works so well here.
But speeches are for campaigning. Now is the time for action.
I think most fans of the show have Ricklantic Mix-Up as a for sure top 5 episode of Rick and Morty. However, I have it coming in here at number 7. Now, I still do love all the toxic political plotlines, and really anytime our episode focuses on the Citadel, you know you're in for one of the best episodes the show has to offer. Seeing how the different Mortys and Ricks that call the Citadel home behave and act makes for some real intriguing stuff. They execute the too little too late trope perfectly, with the secret documents on Evil Morty not quite getting to where they need to be in time. The themes of power, corruption, manipulation, and order are able to be explored in this episode better than any other.
There you go, kid. Now you're Evil Morty too. Sooner or later we all are. On this side of the curve.
So remember how 20 seconds ago I said that episodes featuring the Citadel of Ricks usually are amazing? Well, the same exact thing applies here, except Rick Mirai Jack is a season finale that brings 5 seasons of build-up to fruition. While the whole Samurai Jack homage with the 2 crows from the previous episode can be a bit bland, apart from that anime theme song of course, when this show forgets that plot point and jumps into the Citadel, the episode goes from meh to amazing. By far the best scenes in this episode that allow it to be in 6th place are when we get the Rick flashback about his dead wife, but more noticeably the scene where Evil Morty is able to escape with a yellow portal as his own theme blares in the background. This episode really is nothing short of jaw-dropping and awe-inspiring.
Oh, come on. Who wants to watch a mad scientist use handmade sci-fi tools to take out highly trained alien guards when we can sit here and be a family at Shoney's?
The Rick Shank redemption for me is an episode that tends to blend itself into this show, and in my opinion, the episodes that stick in your head long after the watch, in a good way of course, are the noteworthy ones. However, after revisiting this episode, I recognize that it is indeed one of the show's best. It kind of serves as Season 1's M. Night homage episode, except done a good bit better. The A and B plots mesh so well together. If you have Rick's situation with the Galactic Federation, in which he is in complete control, of course he is, and then Summer and Morty, going through the whole Cronenberg world debacle and trying to save him. The scenes where we relive the tragic accident of Rick's wife are fantastic. And then there's the cherry on top of it all, as the whole episode is revealed to be a setup for the sake of Rick getting rid of Jerry. Legendary writing right there. Also, the Szechuan sauce is in this one, so that's pretty great.
Your fear of relying on Rick has been delicious.
Dear God!
Fear No More is, as of uploading this video, the most recent Rick and Morty episode to drop, as is the Season 7 finale episode. And I'm just gonna be real here, after watching this episode and then rewatching it again, I think that this may be just my favorite episode of the show of all time. Like, actually, I just love everything about it. The are they, aren't they trope that the episode pushes out is so fun, and the twist that they pull at the end legitimately had my jaw drop after the first watch. Then I just had to go watch it again immediately now that I knew it was coming. The whole episode is giving, if a prestigious and well-executed Rick and Morty episode crossed paths with a classic Twilight Zone episode. If you give up on the show after its recent lackluster seasons, I at least urge you to watch the 2 Season 7 episodes featured in my countdown.
Hurry! Hurry, come with me! We can be rich and we also all get to keep one and we can play Nintendo games!
Describing Total Recall in one word, I would just say it's a blast. It's a blast to watch dozens and dozens of zany characters get into the heads of our cast and cause havoc. Total Recall is the cutaway episode, as it cuts to a whole cornucopia of scenes, but not just for no reason like every Family Guy episode ever. Those jump cuts add to the fun, simple plot of the episode. These parasites want to spread to the world, but are stuck in this house. So, Rick and Morty had to find out who's real and who's a parasite. What really makes this episode shine is the whole bad memories is the key trope that is used. Seeing how Mr. PB is the only non-parasite who legitimately doesn't have any previously selfish or insensitive actions to remember about him, and him getting mistaken for a parasite getting shot, like, that's actually genius. This episode is so iconic and well done that Mr. PB has been featured in every season since the episode aired, and that's not for no reason. That's just the way the news goes.
Boom! Big reveal! I'm a pickle! What do you think about that? I turned myself into a pickle!
For those of you worried, no, I did not think Pickle Rick is the best episode of the show. I think it's the second best episode of the show. Despite the repercussions of this episode and just how much flack it gets for being what it is, this episode is still of elite status. The concept of Rick being turned into a pickle, and shenanigans occurring because of said fact, meshes so well with the family counseling narratives and breakdown of Rick's unique motives. I also just love getting to see Rick be his good old genius self as he navigates his way out of a seamlessly impossible challenge like it was second nature. The whole surviving the sewers as a pickle, to having wits to make a top secret facility full of German government officials look like preschoolers, it's just a joy to watch through such a widely creative episode concept. And then our counselor character is so endearing and interesting. She returns for many more episodes following this one, and these shall make for some of the show's best episodes. But despite all this, I still have one episode that I believe takes the cake.
If anything goes wrong, which it won't, jump into the same vat of acid I jump into.
Okay, wait, what? What vat of acid?
Remember how I said May of 2020 was a crazy month for this show? Well, that's because I believe the Season 4 episode titled The Vat of Acid episode is the show's single greatest episode to ever air. Only Rick and Morty can take a thing like a vat of acid, have that be the episode title and surface level plot, and turn it into an unexpectedly phenomenal roller coaster ride of an episode of television. The scene of Morty getting his dream girl, going through the disaster he went through, surviving it, but then when all is well, Jerry just ruins everything because he thought the device was a TV remote. That is some like brutal stuff, but oh, does it make for some incredible writing. Morty realizing that all that he has done and all that he thinks will never trump Rick, because he is a Rick, the smartest man in the universe, and he is a Morty, someone who just says, okay sure, when told to jump into a vat of acid. Man, I love this show. Diving into crazy in-depth episodes like this is what makes Rick and Morty such a fun show to revisit time and time again. While I do think my takes this time around are not quite as hot, I'm sure your opinions on the best episodes from the show are different from mine, so let me hear your opinions down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more cartoony content. I'll see you next time in the Cartoon Cabbage Patch.